Good morning, traders. TG Watkins here. It is November 21st. I hope everyone's doing well out there. And remember, we got Thanksgiving coming up right around the corner. So very excited about that. And that Thursday, the market's going to be closed. Friday is going to be a shortened day. So hopefully you guys remember that and then enjoy your time off. All right, so this is your Daily 5. We're going to be talking about a few things here. Now, one of them, I wanted to go back and talk about more of the interest rates and bonds of something that I had been mentioning for the last few weeks. Because if you look at the past, we were seeing this consistent thing where once the TNX got kind of up and outside of the 30 ATR on a weekly time frame, eventually price did want to pull back. And you could see that over the last few weeks, we were getting back up into that situation. And all I was saying is, hey, it seems to me that at some point this thing is going to pull back. And typically when it does, the market at least moves up, or at least it gives it a bit of a break. And so we saw that the market was pulling back for 3 months, starting at the end of July, so basically August, September, and all of October. And then I went to the Money Show, and I had two presentations there, the weekend of Halloween, so like the 30th, basically October 30th. And I was pointing this kind of stuff out, and I said, look, I know it's been 3 months that the market's been just moving down, and it's getting really long in the tooth. And as it turns out, the market actually moved down 10% on the S&P. And then I was telling people at the Money Show, I said, look, I'm looking at these kind of things, and I think we're getting spring-loaded for something to happen to the other direction, which would be up, since we had been pulling back for 3 months. And I said, I think it's just a long pullback. And so you look at something like this, and whenever the TNX finally starts to just back off, it doesn't have to go down. It just has to back off, and then the market can finally go up. And we clearly started to see something like that over the last 2 weeks, basically. The market's been straight up, and part of the trigger was, I think, the TNX. So again, this is the weekly chart, so go look at that and correlate it to what the market does. All right, another one that I wanted to do, you can see here, I was talking about breadth. So this is a screenshot from my presentation at the Money Show over Halloween weekend just a couple weeks ago. And what I was talking about, how breadth cycles between overbought and oversold. And as far as the 20-day SMA, it can help us within trends. Like you can see, this was an uptrend, but when were there good dips to buy? Well, when the breadth of the 20-day breadth got really, really low, basically, right? And even when the market started to pull back like this, the lows were when the 20-day moving average got really, really low, again, super low. And then what we noticed is that here, the market made new lows, right? We all know the market made new lows, basically made 3 waves down. But then if you go back and look at this, and this is a screenshot from late October. And what I was showing is that we were already starting to see better conditions. It made a higher low, and it was also at an extreme low, like these previous ones before, and that helps set up some positive divergences for the market to move up. The other thing is we could look at the 50-day SMA here, and you could see just how low breadth got on the 50-day SMA. Notice, even back to last October, how low did the breadth get, and how low did it get this time? And that also helped set us up for a move to the upside. So this is the kind of stuff that I was talking to people all the way back to at the end of October, and then we know what happened at the beginning of November. We got that really, really big move to the upside. All right, so then we can kind of say, okay, now we had that big move, and now what? Well, as of yesterday and this morning, the Nasdaq is breaking out to new highs. So it just cleared its double top. Now, this is great and bad all at the same time. Great because it means that we have broken through a mile marker. We've actually made new highs. But bad because it's kind of like a game of whack-a-mole. Who wants to be the first person to raise their head and start buying this new high after the market has done this? After the market has basically moved up for about 2 weeks. Boy, that's going to be pretty rough. So I'm kind of looking at this as not quite a sell signal, but definitely a pullback signal. And I'd be very cautious about wanting to buy or initiate a new trade up here. It seems unlikely. Now, we are going into a holiday week. A lot of times people just try to play nice, and they don't want to have to worry about their stocks and positions and stuff like that falling apart. So, we could see just kind of more of a neutral situation, have the market just kind of cool off, flag sideways. That's a possibility. Of course, anything goes, but that's kind of where I'm leaning to. But I would not be initiating new positions up here. Okay, it just doesn't seem to be the most reasonable place. You went from all the way down here to all the way up here. The market's going to have to digest this and take a break. The other thing is that the Moxie price trigger is just now firing. It's really best if the Moxie price trigger fires before or at price crossing the 50 SMA. So it's good that it's doing it, but it's doing it late, which tends to mean that at some point there will have to be a pullback in order to test support and then confirm that the Moxie indicator wants to stay up there. So just yeah, letting you guys know that that's it's good, but it's late. All right, then another thing, we can look at the QQQE, which is the equal weight NASDAQ, and look at the discrepancy. So number one, we know that the NASDAQ just made new highs, okay? Broke out, made new highs. Where is the QQQE? It's still down here. So, you know, that's not great. It definitely tells us that the market is being led by the mega caps, you know, the handful of, you know, heavily weighted stocks. We kind of all know that. Money's definitely up there. So even though we are seeing better participation throughout the market, it's still not awesome. And so besides that, the other thing we could see is that this was a nice trigger. Look right here. We did get a breakout of this downtrending channel. Okay, so this is great. What I was concerned about was we were seeing that the QQQE was still getting stuck within this channel while the NASDAQ was basically just doing fine. And it was going to be a problem, I think, if we saw this start to move down like that. But instead, we finally got it to break up and out, break the downtrending channel. This is fantastic. This is the kind of stuff that we want to see. So good news there. But then also a little bit of bad news is, well, it's pretty darn overbought. So same thing as the rest of the market. It went from the lower to the upper, and boy, that was a heck of a move. The market deserved a break. It's going to have to digest this. It's going to chill out. So just don't be surprised if the market starts pulling back, simply because this was a heck of a move, and it's going to have to take some time to digest this. So we'll have to see. It's kind of just up here floating in midair, and we'll have to see where it wants to come down, find some support, and see if we can finally get going back to the upside. So looking good overall, but we just need to realize the condition of where we are after 2 weeks of being up. All right, and then I wanted to bring back this. This is Race, which is Ferrari, all the way back to its IPO. I mean, this 2016, you can see all the way back here. Now, the reason I bring this up is because I'm seeing a stock out there that is looking very similar to this kind of setup. And this is on a weekly time frame, okay? So weekly time frame. And what you can see, there are a couple Moxie patterns here, but I'll just kind of clue you into the simple thing. Look at when the 8 crossed over the 21 right there. And then also notice when the Moxie indicator went green and the Moxie indicator fired, you know, Moxie price trigger. That was the beginning of the major move for Ferrari, okay? Now, what I'm looking at is ARM, A-R-M, is doing something similar. Now, I don't think it's here. I think it's still a little bit early. It's still about maybe this position. But I think we should all keep our eyes on ARM and see if it's going to do something like this. And, you know, because same thing, even Ferrari, after its IPO, went down. But then it kind of settled out, and look where the 8 and the 21 crossed, and then it was off to the races. So yeah, take a look at ARM, look at that, study that. I want to give you guys kind of just an overall heads up. You know, we are here to trade, but we're also here to learn. I don't want to just be giving you guys the fish. We want to teach you how to fish, and this is some of the things that you need to do and know. So anyway, also, we are running a sale, so if you guys want to come over to simplertrading.com/flash sale, you can use code BFS Black Friday Sale 23. Got just a couple days left, so I know everybody's looking out there for good deals. We've got some too. The Moxie indicator is for sale. You can get it at Stock Charts, or you can get it at Simpler Trading for Thinkorswim, and you can get it for TradingView. Anyway, I'm up there. We got a bunch of our other traders. If you guys want to find something at a discount, come on over and check us out. So thanks again for your Daily 5. Appreciate you guys watching. Again, my name is TG Watkins. You guys can click on these particular links to find me specifically. I do a new video newsletter twice a week. And then, of course, we got the Facebook and Instagram and Twitter/X. All right, guys, thanks again, and we will see you.